Have you ever felt so tired that even after a good night's sleep, you still wake up feeling drained? It's a sensation that's all too familiar for many of us, but what if I told you this isn't just about physical fatigue? Yes, there's a more profound, less tangible type of fatigue that can be even more debilitating: mental and emotional exhaustion. This is a state of being where you feel emotionally drained, mentally overworked, and lack the zest for life. It's a tiredness that sleep cannot replenish, a weariness that a vacation cannot remedy. It's not about the body needing rest, it's about the mind and the heart feeling overwhelmed. We often focus on our physical well-being, but our mental and emotional health is just as crucial. So how can we recognize when we're mentally and emotionally exhausted? What are the signs that we're not just physically tired, but emotionally and mentally worn out? In this video, we will help you identify the subtle signs of mental and emotional exhaustion that you might be overlooking. Mental and emotional exhaustion, unlike physical fatigue, is an invisible burden. It's a heavy weight that silently settles on your shoulders, gradually seeping into every aspect of your life. It's a stealthy adversary creeping in unnoticed until it's too late and you're left feeling drained, overwhelmed, and struggling to cope. Consider it this way. Our minds and emotions are like a well-oiled machine, functioning at top speed to keep us moving forward. But just like any machine, constant stress and pressure without adequate rest can lead to burnout. It's like running a car at high speed for an extended period without regular maintenance or occasional pit stops. Sooner or later, it's bound to break down. Mental and emotional exhaustion can manifest in various ways. It affects not just our mental health, but also our physical well-being, relationships, and overall quality of life. It's a pervasive issue that can be triggered by various factors. One of the most common causes is chronic stress, particularly at work. Long hours, high demands, and a lack of support can leave us feeling perpetually on edge and depleted. Similarly, relationship problems can also take a heavy toll on our emotional health. Constant conflict, lack of communication, or feeling unappreciated can slowly chip away at our resilience. Financial worries are another significant contributor. The constant anxiety about making ends meet, paying off debts, or securing a stable future can be incredibly draining. And then there are other personal issues like health concerns or the loss of a loved one that can lead to this emotional and mental fatigue. But here's the thing. Mental and emotional exhaustion isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you're human. It's a sign that you've been strong for too long without giving yourself the care and rest you need. It's a wake-up call that your well-being matters and that it's time to prioritize self-care. That's why it's crucial to recognize these signs early to prevent them from escalating into more serious health issues. Remember, you don't have to carry this invisible burden alone. There is help available, and it's okay to reach out for it. So, what are these subtle signs of mental and emotional exhaustion? Let's delve into them. Mental and emotional exhaustion is not always evident, especially to those experiencing it. Often, it's the delicate shifts in our behavior and thought processes that hint at a deeper issue. The first sign is difficulty concentrating. You might find yourself struggling to focus on tasks that were once a breeze. It's like trying to see through a fog. You might also notice a decrease in your productivity or find yourself frequently forgetting things. This cognitive fog is a common sign of mental exhaustion. Next, you might notice feeling irritable or angry. Little things that never used to bother you suddenly make your blood boil. You snap at your loved ones or find yourself in conflict more often than not. This heightened irritability often stems from feeling overwhelmed and not having the emotional bandwidth to effectively process these feelings. Another sign is a loss of motivation. Things that used to excite you now don't seem to matter. Your passions and hobbies don't bring you the same joy. You might even find it hard to get out of bed in the morning, not out of physical tiredness, but because you lack the drive to start the day. That spark, that zest for life seems to have dimmed. A constant feeling of dread is another sign to watch out for. It's like carrying a heavy weight on your chest, making it hard to breathe. You might find yourself constantly anxious or worried, even when there's no apparent reason to be. This constant state of worry and fear can be draining and is often a sign of emotional exhaustion. Lastly, being easily overwhelmed is a common sign of mental and emotional exhaustion. Tasks that used to be manageable now feel insurmountable. You might find yourself feeling swamped even by everyday responsibilities. This overwhelming feeling is often because your mental and emotional resources are depleted and you're running on empty. Understanding these signs is crucial. They're like a silent cry for help from your mind and body, signaling that it's time to slow down and take care of yourself. Ignoring these signs can lead to more serious issues like burnout or depression. Remember, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to admit that you're overwhelmed and need a break. It's okay to seek help. You're not alone in this. Millions of people around the world are going through the same thing, and just like them, you too can find the strength to overcome this. Recognizing these signs is the first step to addressing mental and emotional exhaustion. By acknowledging these signs, you're taking a brave step towards healing and recovery. So be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can, and that's more than enough. But did you know that mental and emotional exhaustion can also manifest physically? Yes, it's not just all in your head. Your body can and often does respond to prolonged stress and fatigue in very tangible ways. When we're talking about the physical signs of mental and emotional exhaustion, we're not just talking about feeling tired all the time, although that is certainly a common symptom. We're talking about persistent headaches that don't seem to have a clear cause, like tension or dehydration. These headaches can range from mild to severe, and they can last for hours or even days. Then there's the stomach issues. You might experience nausea, diarrhea, constipation, or just a general sense of unease in your gut. You might also notice changes in your appetite. Some people find that they're not as hungry as they used to be, while others might feel like they're constantly craving comfort food. Sleep disturbances are another major physical manifestation of mental and emotional exhaustion. You might find it difficult to fall asleep, or you might wake up frequently during the night. Insomnia is common in people who are emotionally exhausted, but so is hypersomnia, which is when you sleep too much and still feel tired. And let's not forget about the muscle aches and pains, the chest tightness, the palpitations. These symptoms can be really scary, especially if you don't know what's causing them. But more often than not, they're a sign that your body is under a lot of stress and it's struggling to cope. The thing about these physical symptoms is that they can be easy to ignore or dismiss. You might think you're just coming down with a cold, or that you're not getting enough exercise, or that you're just getting older. But if these symptoms persist, and if they're accompanied by feelings of sadness, hopelessness, or apathy, it's important to take them seriously. These physical symptoms are your body's way of telling you that something isn't right. So don't brush them off. Listen to your body. It knows what it's talking about. In this video, we've talked about the subtle signs of mental and emotional exhaustion that you can't afford to ignore. We delved into the invisible burden that many of us carry, often unbeknownst to even ourselves. This burden, an amalgamation of our stresses, worries, and fears, can quietly chip away at our mental and emotional fortitude. It's important to remember that just because this burden isn't physically visible, it doesn't mean it's any less real or significant. We've explored the subtle signs that can creep into our daily lives. These signs can be as minor as feeling constantly tired, or as significant as losing interest in the things we once loved. We've examined how these signs can be easy to brush off or attribute to other factors, but it's vital to understand that they can be indicators of something more serious. We've also discussed the physical manifestations of mental and emotional exhaustion. It's not just our minds and spirits that can feel drained. Our bodies can also bear the brunt of this invisible burden. Chronic fatigue, a weakened immune system, and even changes in appetite or sleep patterns can all signal that our mental and emotional health needs attention. The importance of recognizing these signs early cannot be overstated. It's not a sign of weakness to acknowledge that you're feeling mentally or emotionally exhausted. On the contrary, it's a sign of strength to recognize when you need help and to seek it out. Whether it's confiding in a trusted friend, reaching out to a mental health professional, or simply taking some time for self-care, it's crucial to take steps to alleviate this exhaustion. Remember, mental and emotional health is just as important as physical health. Don't ignore these signs. Take care of your mental well-being,